the kind you wear a tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says the world can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby, and joining me tonight, we got Austin.
Hey, it's something on here with Webby, and we're doing this fast.
Whoa, slow your roll, Austin. Slow your roll.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
So, Austin, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about local gaming stores.
Oh, okay.
Gaming stores, comic shops, whatever you got around you. There's a couple around here that I can give mention to or whatever. And for the listeners, we have a little special surprise at the tail end of this episode.
I'm going to run off and go interview somebody right when me and Webby get done talking.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I gave Austin a promotion here at Simply Unprofessional.
Finally.
You are now the unpaid on-site reporter.
That's how I can't believe I got a raise.
That's right. In title only. Anyway,
yes.
So to talk a little bit before, I mean, tell us a little bit about. Don't go into what the interview was, but go ahead and let us know. Let all the listeners know who you interviewed and like what shop they're from, and a little bit about it.
Okay, so first off, I want to say this. I went in there and I brought my old mic that I had because it was the only one that I could record on, and it wasn't the best sounding. Like it wasn't best for acoustics. Okay,
you looking to get fired already? No. I just hired you. Like I gave you a raise.
Yes. Okay. I'll do better next time. But no, there in the very beginning, there's some parts that get really, really low and they're hard to hear, but that clears up throughout the rest of the episode. And then at the end, there's some static. I don't know if something happened with like something in my mic cord that shorted out, or if something was going on in the background that I didn't hear. But you can still hear the whole interview. It's just there's like some staticky stuff going on in the back at the end.
All right. So if any of that staticky stuff is too unnerving and too jarring for you listeners, send all of your hateful comments to Austin's Twitter account. Because it had nothing to do with our normal quality. This was all on him. I will say I did laugh. Okay, I did laugh because, all right, Austin worked really hard at putting together this interview. Okay, he approached me. He's like, "Hey, listen, I think it'd be cool if I interviewed or if we interviewed a couple of the game store guys or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, all right, just set it up. Let me know what day, and we'll record." And then it comes to that day. I'm talking to him the morning of or whatever, and he's telling me how nervous he is. And then he's like, "It might be easier if I just do the interview by myself, because if I was on the call, I'd end up getting feedback, and it'd be a pain in the ass to edit. And Simply Unprofessional, we have very high standards of editing, as in we try not to do any. That is my high standard."
That means
work smarter, not harder. That's
all
the motto here.
The editing happens right now.
Right now. So I was like, all right, well, I'm trusting you with this interview. And he fucking was so nervous. And the whole day I was just sitting there saying, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. You getting more nervous? I'm not going to be there. Save your ass. This is your first time. Don't fuck up. That was my advice to him. Legit. Said, I got one bit of advice for you. Don't fuck it up. Needless to say, he got to the store, he set up right, and You're waiting, and then it started getting busier, and everyone's fucking staring at the weirdo with the fucking recording equipment sitting at the table, and then you can't do the interview.
Which no fault to them. Because they're a business, they have to deal with the customers that are in there and stuff.
For sure.
And it just happened to be on the same week that a new Dragon Ball Z card game dropped a new expansion. So there's a lot of people up there playing that. So.
Not to mention, did they have Friday Night Magic there? Because I know that's a big night at game stores.
They have Magic on one of the nights. He tells the like
in the interview
what they do. Yeah,
right on. So you had to push it back to the next day. I didn't hear from you. I didn't have a chance to poke little jabs at you or anything. But then he comes back and he sends me a message. Okay, he's like, "All right, listen. I was supposed to interview 3. I only got 1, and it's only like 17 minutes long." I understood the message the first time, but I wanted to try to just drive that spike in just a little further. I'm not gonna lie, Austin. So I was like, "Oh, sweet! So you interviewed 3 guys in 17 minutes each? That's awesome."
And then I'm like, "Oh no! What'd I tell Webby? Oh no!"
I was going to say, well, I mean, that's awesome that you did all 3 interviews at 17 minutes a pop, because if it was any less, you're fired. So what card store was this interview done at? This is a local one to you. So
yeah, it's in Louisville, in the South End. And it's called, I say it kind of quick in the beginning of the interview, but it's Card in All Gaming.
Card N All, the letter N?
Yeah, because it's a play on words. It's like they have cards in all types of games, like video games and board games, card games, everything. They have all of that. And then the Louisville Cardinals are like is the team here, the college team, University of Louisville. So they kind of triple entendre.
And what town is this again?
Are you?
What?
Is this?
Where are they located?
I feel like this is a this might be you making a little fun of my accent there, Webby.
When Austin, since we've known each other for years now.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
How often do I make fun of your accent?
Pretty much every time it rains and I need an umbrella.
Listen, okay, that's a deal. As soon as I asked you that question, that popped in my head. That was like, I hope he doesn't bring up the umbrella thing.
At least it's not raining cats and popcorn.
Listen, okay.
Ooh, me ain't drinking our bubblers over here, Webby.
Yeah, whatever. Bubblers are a real thing. That's all I gotta say. Down there in Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, that's what I said. All right, so you got Card in All Games. Is it Card in All Games or Card in All Gaming?
Oh, yeah.
I like how you did the interview and you don't even know which one of the two it is.
Webby, you think
you're buying time to look it up on Google.
It's Card in All Gaming.
Okay.
You think I would come unprepared?
Yes. Okay. Now, is that the only gaming store that you have down around you?
That's the closest one to like my end of town. Like there are a couple other ones, but not. This is the closest one to me, and they just opened, or I just found out about them in the summer. So I was really hyped to have one less than 5 minutes from my house.
Right on. Yeah, we had here. We had 2 that were in Manchester, and then one of them moved, and they got like a really strange business. Like they changed their business around. It's fucked up. So let's start with the not fucked up one first. We got a comic book shop in Manchester called Double Midnight Comics. They did a lot, and they might still do it. I'm not sure. I know they do a lot of promotions for like the comic book movies and stuff. They'll go to a local theater and they'll do like a comic book night on like the midnight premieres and stuff, and they'll do a bunch of giveaways and give out comics and stuff. And they're a real big part of the community here.
Yeah.
I know they sell like a lot of Magic cards and do like tournaments and stuff like that too. Then we had another one, which I liked it at first, but like I said, they changed their shit and it's all fucked up now. But it was called Myriad Games. It was your typical gaming store. You walk in, you know, you have your case with some Magic cards and dice and whatever, and then like the Magic cards up on the wall. Then it was just like literally every board game you could think of. Board game, tabletop game. They had all the D&D books from 2nd edition all the way through, up on the wall. And then they had a section in the back with a bunch of plastic fold-out tables where people could sit down and play these games. So if you wanted to run like a D&D group, you could all visit, you know, you could all meet there, and then you could run a D&D group on a certain night in the back or play Magic. And they did like the Friday night Magics and tournaments and whatnot. But they changed and they moved locations to like this, like almost like a warehouse-ish type building.
Yeah.
And then they changed their format where you don't just go there and browse and purchase stuff. Like the majority of all their stock is just on their website and stuff. And then you call them or you order it, and then they text you or call you when it's there, and you can go pick that shit up, which is handy. It can be.
But what if you're looking for the now?
Right. Well, that's the thing. Is like you can't go and just sit down and enjoy other people's company and like browse.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now you got to go. If I wanted to if I wanted a player's handbook for D&D, I'd have to call them and be like, "Hey, I'd like a 5th edition player's handbook," and they would order it because they keep minimum stock on hand.
Yeah.
And then once it comes in, they put it on a shelf. They send me a text. I go, I pick it up. Now, the good part about this is, first, you don't have to make the trip there to be let down that they don't have something that you need or want. Second, to even go through this process, you need a membership there now.
Oh.
Now, I know that sounds bad. Yes, I know that sounds bad. Okay. But I think the membership was like $10 for the year.
Oh.
So it's really not that bad, right? But what it is like, so like a brand new Dungeon Master's Guide, right? In a store would cost like $49.99, right?
Yeah.
If you go through Myriad Games as a member, you can get that same Dungeons Master's Guide for like $30. So you're saving yourself almost $20, like
for $10 a year,
15 or something like that. Yeah, like it's a good deal.
Yeah,
but it's just, to me, like when they were back at their old location, it was so much more personable.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what I liked.
Probably one of the reasons they do it the way they do it now is because, for one, they're guaranteeing money coming in from what they sell,
right? And
they have this membership too. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a way for brick and mortars to stay in business. I'm okay with it. If it works out for better, like you said, if you order 3 Dungeons Dragons book a year, you save $50.
Yeah.
So you basically get one for free.
So those are really the only two. We have another one in Derry. I'm not really sure what that one was called. I want to say it's called like Castle Gaming. They were super big into like a Warhammer type thing. Yeah. They're big on minis, painted and non-painted. And then like, I want to say it was this place. You walk in, right? And one of the first things you see is they have a humongous fucking table right in the middle of the place that has this huge fucking map for Warhammer. And it's like, there's like all sorts of terrain. There's like a desert little section. There's a grassy hill that goes up into a forest. Like, it's an in-depth fucking map.
The first time
there's like level to this.
The first time I seen like a Warhammer, or like a big Warhammer terrain thing, I was like in love. I wanted to play D&D on it though. Yeah. I wish I knew more about Warhammer, but because I like the minis. Yeah. Like, I've seen some of the minis and they're gnarly, but like,
I don't know. I'm just, I guess I'm more of a D&D nerd.
I am too. Like Warhammer is not an RPG. I don't think it's more of a tactics game, which
Yeah.
I think would be fun. But
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if anybody remembers Hero Clicks.
mm-hmm. I never played that, but yeah, I remember.
I have so many shoeboxes full of them. That's what we use as our minis sometimes in our old D&D group. But yeah, so essentially what it is each piece has a point value,
mm-hmm.
and then you're allotted a certain number of points to purchase whatever pieces you want.
Yeah, X-Wing does that.
So like in HeroClix, you could have, if it was like, say, a 3-way game, me, you, and say Devin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me, you, Devin, and Edquist. I don't want to leave out both my co-hosts.
We're playing too.
Yeah. So if you were allotted, X amount of points, you could say purchase, some of the X-Men, and like different rarities had different powers. So you might not be able to purchase like the rarest version of all the X-Men, but you might be able to get like say Spider-Man and like some of the Spider-Man people. What? Not the X-Men. I changed my mind because I was talking to you.
Oh, okay.
You would want Spider-Man,
right?
So you'd get some of the Spider-Man. Say Edquist would be able to get like
the Avengers.
Some of the Avengers. Me, I always went with mass quantity. So I purchased Super Skrull, which was my highest costing piece, and then I just bought a shit ton of Skrulls. So it was a Super Skrull using a Skrull army. So I might have like twice or 3 times the amount of pieces on the board that you guys have, but my Skrulls are super weak. And then Devin could invest all his fucking points into Galactus and just have one big ass fucking piece. And it would be up to everybody to figure out, okay, who's the biggest threat here? Let's fucking try to win this match. But it's all a point and buy system, which I get and I kind of like, but I don't know. It's hard because like it's too many choices at that point.
Yeah.
So
we used to play. We were playing X-Wing for like a little stint. You have to do that, but we never used the points. It was just like, hey, these ships look cool when they go together. Let's fight with them.
Oh God.
But then like that was the first few times we played. After a little while, we figured out the points, and then we'd like kind of homebrewed it though.
Right.
Which was stupid. Playing like that would be some of my very first advice for new gamers is don't homebrew at first.
Not at first. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay. Whenever you're jumping into a new game, play it the right way first.
Yes.
Okay. Read the rules. Make sure that there's no questions or concerns regarding the other players and the rules. Because then you're going to run into, well, that's not how I perceive this rule. That's not how I think this rule works. Get all that shit done and taken care of right off the bat. That way you guys can just enjoy the game afterwards.
And
then
you can't
play the game correctly, learn it, master it, then homebrew.
Yeah, because you can't, if you don't know the rules, then you don't know what's going to break the rules. So like, you got to have an understanding both.
Like I like to think, especially in D&D, like me and you, we do quite a bit of homebrewing now.
Yeah.
But I think it's
look at us cocky assholes. We can homebrew. Yeah. We're good at this.
We're good. We're masters. Fuck.
Dungeon masters.
Dungeon masters.
Fucking homebrew all you want, guys. It's your game.
I like to think that we're pretty balanced about it.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest things is balance. I find it's one of the hardest things to achieve, and it's the one thing that I'm always concerned about.
That's why I always come to you with ideas and stuff, and then I'll be like, doesn't this sound... You remember the class idea I had about like
you're summoning ones?
Yeah, summoning different forms to play different roles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I thought I had this thing figured out, and I was like, Webby's going to love this. He's going to right off. He's going to be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's throw it in a game. I give it to him. Well, that is cool, but what about how do you keep your wizard from, getting hit? Or does he take hit? Like if he takes hit points, does the summon fall? And I was like, Webby, Can I just...
Listen, I did like the idea, and I'm still willing to sit down and flesh something out that works.
And stupid idea.
Too much work now? What? Like,
oh well, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, it's hard. That's the hardest part is balance. Yeah. Finding out what that very thin line between a very weak character versus, oh, if you fall across this line, now you're OP as shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And especially, like, it's different when you're making NPCs. You can make an NPC, they can have some special homebrew abilities, blah, 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 whatever. But when you're allowing this to be considered for a playable class, one of the first questions I ask myself is this going to be an overpowered class? And are they going to essentially outshine the other players?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they going to become the main focus? Are they going to become like the main draw? You know what I mean? I will say, so far, I have not run into that problem. We have discussed some homebrewed classes for PCs. We have play tested some homebrew classes, as short as those stints might have been.
2 sessions.
Yeah, 2. Hey man, the double shielded paladin was dope.
Oh, that too.
I liked it.
Oh, that was what I'm talking about. The 2 sessions with Ross. Was it?
Yeah, but that was the 2. That was Donnie's character. Was the dual shield wielder. that was what he did. You had an NPC there who was a homebrew class.
Oh, the drunkard.
The drunkard, yep. Which I think they actually, I want to say that they released something in Unearthed Arcana that's about that class now. So they might have fleshed it out a little bit better.
I haven't looked at anything until like just recently when they released a thing to Mordenkainen's Magnificent Bows, like the page to it.
Yeah. Remind me as soon as this call ends. I do have something that I want to tell you because you are a co-DM and a co-world builder.
Okay.
So. Anyway.
I just had something I forgot.
So, I mean, those are just some of the comic shops we have around here. I want the listeners, feel free, post on the Simply Unprofessional Facebook page some of your favorite local comic shops. And why are they your favorite? Yeah, I'll for sure tag them. Give them a shout out. Why are they your favorite? Do you go there and play games, or do you know people who do? Those sorts of things. I don't care if it's just that's where you get your Yu-Gi-Oh cards from.
Yeah.
You know? You gotta believe in the heart of the cards, Yug. See? I know my shit. I know my shit.
I don't.
And people always yell at me because I don't know what Pokemans is. Fuck you.
Hey. Fuck. Never mind.
Yep.
I fucking lost.
So I think now we're gonna be diving into your interview.
Yeah, I gotta get ready. Webby, I gotta go.
Oh, dude, that ship sailed, dude. Everybody knew that this was already pre-recorded. We talked about it.
At the beginning, like I've thought about that, and I was like, "This is gonna be good. I can end the episode acting like I'm gonna run." And then we started talking about doing the interview. I thought it was worth a shot anyway to give it a go.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, regardless, you gave it your best shot. It was your first time ever interviewing somebody by yourself.
Yes.
I can definitely understand how nervous you were, and for good reason. But I mean, I gave you some good advice. I think.
Yeah.
You know, they're just people just like us. That's how you got to look at it.
And let me tell you this: before I went, you know Maddox, right?
Yeah. Maddox is the man with the master plan.
Yeah. So Maddox is my 9-year-old cousin. 9? Yeah, he's my 9-year-old cousin, and I was sitting down with him before I went up to the store to do the interview, and I said, Maddox, man,
if you're not 9, bitch slap Austin.
You'll be 9 by the time you hear this. But I was sitting down with him, and I said, Maddox, man, I'm nervous. And I talked to Maddox like he's my age. We just talk back and forth. I said, Maddox, man, I'm nervous. He said, why? I said, because I have to go do this interview with those guys from the gaming store. And he was like, well, why are you nervous? I was like, I don't know. I've never had to sit down and ask people questions like this by myself. And he said, well, don't be nervous. They're just people. They're just nerds just like you. You can ask them any nerdy question and you won't look weird because they're nerds just like you. And I said, Maddox, you are wise beyond your ears, buddy. And your ears.
Beyond his ears?
Beyond his ears.
Way beyond his ears. He's very wise. You
got to know Maddox's ears, buddy. No, but I just want to say, Chase, you were awesome, man. It was easy to talk to you once I got in there and doing it. And I just appreciate you being a nice, cool guest. So thanks, Chase. That's the guy I interviewed.
And even though I wasn't there, I do also want to say thank you, Chase, for agreeing to do the interview and not giving Austin a heart attack through stress.
And Mason and Zach, those are the other 2 co-owners. Thank you guys, too, for letting us do the interview.
That's right. So, with that being said, real quick, because the interview is going to be the last thing, go ahead and give your Twitter and all your online stuff.
But wait, don't we have to end the episode or something? But we'll never know. And Webby, you'll never know unless you listen to this episode of Simply Unprofessional. You guys can find me at Easy at 300.
I'll have you know, Austin, I listen to every one of my. I don't. I do. I'm in the episode. There's no. I've literally listened to one episode of Simply Unprofessional, and it was the one that I was not in to make sure you guys didn't fuck up.
What do I need to listen to Simply Unprofessional before I lived it?
Well, listen. You don't listen to any of these either.
Who? I do. I listen to everyone that's not a spoiler.
All right, fair enough.
And I didn't listen to the Friends one. My bad.
You son of a dude. Well, that's okay.
Nobody told you Austin was gonna be this way.
It's okay if you haven't listened to that one because Edquist made me look like an idiot.
I'm gonna listen to it.
Dude, if you had to give each of us 10 Friends questions, like a trivia quiz, he would get 10 out of 10. I would get 1 out of 10.
Same, man. I'm Maddox
and I just binge watched all of them.
I've never watched them all the way through. Just caught them here and there.
They're on Netflix.
No.
Anyway, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestWalker, all one word. I'm also on Twitch at twitch.tv/DMWebby. You can check out Facebook, facebook.com/simplyunprofessional. Again, feel free to give a shout out to your local game shops and tell us why you love them. simplyunprofessional@gmail.com for any questions, comments, future topic ideas. I love topic ideas. If you have something that's near and dear and you want to listen to, I will try to dig stuff up on it and talk about it. I do have a couple in the bank to listen to talk about. It's going to be kind of its own little ongoing segment, I think. I'm not sure how I want to do it quite yet, but it'll be interesting. We're going to talk about some stuff that makes me feel really uncomfortable. So yeah, on with the interview. And from me anyway, as always, fuck Booster Gold.
Yeah, me too. Fuck Booster Gold. Take it away, Austin. All right, so we're here at Cardinal Gaming in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sitting here with Chase, one of the 3 co-owners. Chase, you want to tell us about the store a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So like Austin said, it's the 3 owners, Zach, Mason, and I. We're a local game store in the south end of Louisville. We do trading cards, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, which has been a big hit lately. We're starting to get into board games and some miscellaneous things. And then I guess it all started about a year ago. like I was telling Austin, I walked into the shop on Valley Station. I was an assistant general manager at a Taco Bell, so of course that was miserable. I was joking around about them giving me a job whenever I was shopping in there and stuff like that.
You give them tacos.
Yeah, exactly.
Trade off.
That was my end. That's how I got into the store. And then anyway, a couple months passed. I went over to the store on Valley Station and noticed they weren't there. And there was a sign saying we're moving to this location. I was like, huh. Well, and that was even closer to my house, so that was convenient. So I walked into the store one day. Of course, they probably didn't remember me, but I ended up buying like some Pokemon intro decks and a couple games and stuff like that, just for nostalgia purposes. And then I kept saying, yeah, you guys should let me work for you and stuff like that. I kept bringing new people in the store. I was here 3 or 4 times a week, even though I was working 50 hours a week. And then time passed. I started helping out with the store. And then I decided, well, I'm not happy at Taco Bell. I want to be there. So I did. And the next thing you know, I started working here. I told them, I was like, well, you guys don't have to pay me yet, but I'm probably going to be here 40 hours a week now. And they said, well, if you're going to do that, we probably should pay you. So then they hired me on. A few more months passed. Everything was going great. And then I was like, well, I really want to buy in. They were all for it, which was awesome.
So they kind of like, hey, you want to come in with us, and you put up, I don't know, did you actually bought stock in?
Yes, I did. I bought a portion of Zach's share.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you said before you were working at Taco Bell, were they had this shop before, just in another location?
Yes, they did have this.
Do you know how long they were doing?
I think they were at Valley Station for 5 or 6 months. Before that, they had a location on Brook Street, which was like a really small office building, no play space whatsoever.
Yeah.
They were just buying and selling stuff, just, pretty much hustling, working on getting everything up so they could get a place like this.
So the goal has always been to have just a legit gaming store where you have video games you can sell, cards, D&D stuff. Like, that's just been the goal. Like, that's, I guess, what you all started out. There's nothing bigger behind it, or is it just like that's your kind of your all's dream?
It's definitely like pretty close to all of our dream jobs. All 3 of us are nerds. There's no doubt about it. We all play various card games and video games and stuff like that. The biggest thing that we wanted, though, was a place in the South End where people could come to play. There's this theory that Wizards has. It's called the third-party theory. And it pretty much states that, people normally have 3 places. They have home, they have work, and then they have a third-party place that's neither, where they go to relax, hang out, play games, stuff like that. And essentially what we wanted to do was be that third party.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now that we got all how it came to be out of the way, what are your all's, I guess, different roles as far as the store? Like, do you focus on more of like the card games, and Zach focuses on like the Nintendo stuff, and is Mason just the overall stuff? Or
I like to think we're all really well rounded, but we all have like completely different ideas of what we want to get done throughout the day.
Yeah.
Mason definitely orders all of our shipments from all of our distributors, GTS, Southern Hobby, Video Game Advantage, stuff like that. So Mason's goal normally throughout the day is get all of our shipments and get it priced, get everything hung up the way it needs to be. Zach has always been our repair guy and magic guy, so he's been doing a really good job at putting our magic case together, and he's done some amazing things with repairs and moddings and stuff like that. Me, I'm really well rounded with card games. I'm the only one here that plays 3 card games.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a decent background in D&D. I started playing back when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, back when I was 3.5 when I was playing.
You go back farther than I do. I started at 4.
Yeah, and then of course we're all very passionate about video games, but we definitely do have our own roles in the store.
I've noticed that you guys have been a lot of that DBZ card game is really big right now. You play that?
Yes, that honestly might be my favorite out of the 3 card games. It's been a really big hit lately.
I've been thinking about trying it out just to see what it is. Because I've seen all those kids up here last night playing it, and it looked pretty cool. Does that play like Magic or Pokemon? What is it?
The best way to compare it to, with no intention of insulting it, it really is like a dumbed down version of Magic.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the core mechanics from Magic and a few other games. A lot of people compare it to Kaijudo. That's one game that a lot of people compare it to.
That's cool. I'm going to try that out. So now let's step into my world a little bit. Not like pun intended.
Yeah.
World D&D. You guys, this is the place I've been coming here for a couple months, I guess, since you guys, I guess, really started to pop.
Yep, right when we started getting D&D stuff. And,
And this is the best selection of miniatures I've seen all over Louisville. Like, just the variety. You guys keep them stocked. You guys have the Pathfinder boxes where you can get miniatures that are just random. So I guess since you've been playing D&D since you were about 7 on and off, I guess.
Yeah, on and off.
What's your favorite D&D character class?
I really have a tendency to go with elf wizards.
Yeah.
I would like to get into like more miscellaneous categories since like with Xanthar's Guide to Everything out, that's been a big hit, is just really miscellaneous carriers and archetypes. So I would definitely love to do something just completely just insane. But
I have a buddy playing and I'm gonna have one, a Blade Singer, basically sword wielding wizard. Pretty cool. What about your favorite D&D monster that you fought? Have you had any like hard encounters in the past?
I have. There was one time we were fighting an Oni, and I can't think of the name of it. It's very similar to Beholder, as far as the look of it goes. We were fighting an Oni and that at the same time. It was actually the most recent campaign I've been in, and it was just insane. We had no clue what was going on, and then we figured out, there's this giant blue shape-shifting ogre.
It's pretty cool, man. Have you played, like, what's your longest campaign that you've been in?
My longest campaign's definitely been a while. It was probably with my dad, brother, and one or two other, family friends. It probably once a week for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Did you guys, how far did you get as far as that?
A lot of the characters we were using back then were pre-con characters, and
So have you wrote up a character though, like
yeah. And of course, that was an elf wizard too. That's just my go-to.
Yeah. I don't know. So stepping away from D&D a little bit, you guys sell video games, and I know everywhere that I go, like as far as within nerd stuff, video games are always up there with everything else. Everybody that likes nerd stuff usually is into video games. Yeah. So like, what is your memory of like your first memory that you were like, this is for me as far as video games go?
I remember, I guess I was 2 or 3 years old, watching my brother and dad playing A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. Until this day, that is my favorite Zelda game. I have beat it 2 or 3 times. I've watched them beat it multiple times. That's my first. That's when I was like, wow, this is awesome.
See, I always wanted. I haven't ever played a Zelda game. Like I played on the Nintendo, like the very first one, but I was young.
Yeah,
I don't really remember it. They're worth going back and just going through all of them. You think?
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, there's the Zelda timelines are really confusing because it splits off into like 3 or 4 different branches.
Yeah.
But you can always just pick a timeline and say, I'm going to play the 4 or 5 games that go along with this.
Nice. So, what is your favorite video game of all time? Is it Zelda, you think?
Oh, no, it's without a doubt Skyrim.
Skyrim?
Is, by far, favorite game of all time.
You ever play it modded or anything like that?
I have. I really like vanilla Skyrim. Yeah. I've tried mods. I really like armor mods and weapon mods. I mean, I like stuff that adds to the game, but I don't want anything to, like, drastically alter the story.
Yeah. So they have, it's been a while since I played Skyrim, too. They have those 3 different Thieves Guilds or something in there.
Yeah, they have the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, Companions. I think those are the 3 biggest ones.
So I know people on my podcast want to know which one do you go for normally with those out of those guilds?
Thieves Guild. I'm a stealthy archer.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
What about what's your favorite system? Or are you PC gamer?
I am a PC gamer. I am. As far as retro systems, Super Nintendo's probably my favorite, but I'm a PC gamer at heart.
So you guys are also going to start streaming.
We are.
Right? What do you all have planned as far as that goes?
We'd like to do a large variety of things. Of course, card games. We've already started dabbling with a little bit. We've got a lot of positive feedback on that. Another thing we want to do is, each of us pick out a night or 2 of the week, and then Zach Mason or I will pick a video game at home or even in the shop to stream.
That could, I want to tell you from my experience, everybody else that's part of this network that I'm with, they love streaming, and they pretty much stream all throughout the week. Man, I can't sit down and do it because part of it is, at least what we do is like trying to, I guess, be funny, talk to the fans and stuff. I can't just do that by myself.
Yeah.
So that's just something I
I've
kind of
always
struggled with streaming.
I used to stream on my own a few years ago. Of course, I've kind of like cut back just with everything going on. But streaming, like I've always compared it to like a muscle.
Yeah.
Like you have to stream, you have to
More
work
you
your
do.
muscle out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I got to the point where I would be like I'd be walking around the house talking to myself like I'm streaming. It was
Hey man,
it was just second nature for a while.
I've heard a lot of people do things like that because like some of the podcasts we listen to, they talk about going in the bathroom to try to practice voices for D&D, and I'm like, it seems like you looking at the mirror talking to yourself would be weird, but
Yeah,
it's
a
what
lot of
you
people
gotta
did
do.
it. Yeah, that's.
All right, so let's see. Let's go back to this store. What do you feel is like your favorite part of running this store? Like, what do you enjoy most? What do you get out of it?
Definitely the customers and the friendships you make. I have a lot of people that I would consider close friends that I've met in the past 6 months through the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people that if I can't sleep at night and I want to test play a new deck, I'll be like, hey, can you meet me up at the shop at 3 in the morning? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. And I'll open the shop up at 3 in the morning and we'll hang out and play some
That's
Super or whatever.
awesome.
It's
You let them come in and say you guys have both your decks and you're just killing them. You just one after another card, just taking them, making them discard, do whatever you gotta do for the Dragon Ball. You open up the register, let them buy cards.
oh yeah, if they want to buy cards, of course. If I'm in here, yeah, that's.
Yeah, man. It's let me see. I mean, I don't have any more questions. Is there stuff you kind of want to just chat about the store? Like, let people know.
Of course, as you know, we've had a lot going on. We've been moving stuff around a lot lately. I think you were here by the time we got the card game cases. We used to just have it on one side. Now we have cases on both sides. Of course, you've seen the shelving moved around. That way we have more room for D&D miniatures and like game strategy books and stuff like
I'm
that.
telling you, if you're listening and you live in Louisville, come here for D&D minis. Come here for anything, because I'm like looking at the walls right now. I see all kinds of Magic and Pokemon decks lining the walls, the stuff you see at Walmart. And you told me, I think one time I came up here and I was looking for something that you guys didn't have, and you said you could order anything, and also you'll give me the best price that you can.
Yeah,
pretty
of course,
much.
that's
because I mean, you guys are a small shop right now, growing, of course, but you guys, and they're giving out good prices. So if you guys are in Louisville, South End, come to the store.
Yeah, Cardinal Gaming. You can look us up on Google or Facebook. We do a lot of store updates on Facebook, which I'm sure you know. Yeah. So we post like updates whenever we get bigger shipments in, tournaments, stuff like that. We post on there.
Yeah, and I've been sharing them from my page, but once this comes out on the podcast, I'll start sharing them from the podcast page so everybody can see them. Do you all allow people to order from you from out of state?
We have a TCG Player account, so I'm pretty sure you can look online and see our store on there, because whenever you go on TCG Player, it lets you see, like, whenever you're looking at a card, it'll say the stores that have it, the condition it's in, how much that store's, buying it for, which we always buy our stuff at TCG Low, or sell our stuff at TCG Low, sorry. Our TCG website's kind of like down for maintenance right now. We're, messing with our inventory and getting everything like fixed with that, but it'll definitely be back up soon.
So, I mean, you have any announcements that are this will go out Friday this week, so do you have anything after that you know of right now?
Of course, by the time you are hearing this, we'll have Friday Night Magic going on. Our three biggest games right now, card game wise, are Dragon Ball Super, Pokemon, and Magic. Magic we do, it's almost every day of the week now. It's amazing. We have a great community for Magic, especially Commander. That's by far our most popular format. Pokemon is Wednesday and Saturdays. The three biggest days for Magic are Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. Dragon Ball Super is Thursdays and Sundays, and we post all of the times and stuff like that on our Facebook page. We have Smash Bros. Tournaments on Sundays, which Bourbon State, they're awesome. They handle all of it, the Bourbon State gaming community.
Yeah. You guys are doing it, trying to get an Adventure League thing started, right?
Yes, we are. We're working with Wizards right now to figure out what we need to do to get it in order. It'll probably either be me running the campaign or somebody like outside of the store that comes in to help out.
And I know me and you have talked about us playing a game as far as stuff goes. That we'll if we decide that we're gonna go through with that, we'll talk to them later. But
of course,
just wanted to kind of throw it out there too. I mean, do you guys have a Twitter handle or anything you want to just shout out? So or not Twitter, Facebook? You said
Yeah, Facebook.
but-
Facebook is definitely our biggest thing. Of course, if you're looking for a store, you can also just look us up on Google. We have that on there. We have an Instagram right now, but it's kind of like messing around with it. We connected it with Facebook, so for whatever reason, it's making it a pain to post pictures like separately. We do plan on getting our own website up. That way, you can see like what we have in stock, certain tournaments we have going on. Of course, whatever we're streaming will be on the front page and stuff like that. That's definitely something we want to get set up relatively soon.
All right, well, I mean, Chase, unless you have anything else you want to plug, that's really all I got. And speaking of Webby, the host of the show normally, I've already talked to you a little bit about the tagline at the end of the show, where we have basically two teams. We have our team and Raffy's team. So you can say whatever you want into the mic, join whatever team you want. I'm just going to step back and let Chase take this.
I would like to say sorry, Raffy, but fuck Booster Gold.
All right, thanks, Chase.
Of course, thanks, Austin. I appreciate it.